Hello and welcome back to the Reapers with me, Tanky. So what we've got here for you today for review is the Elegoo Mars 5 Ultra. Now I would say go and look at my video of the Saturn 4 Ultra and it's basically a mini version of that, but unfortunately I was never sent one of those for review, so I can't use that get out of jail free card. So it is basically a smaller Saturn 4 Ultra, without the flip front, and that's the only real difference. Bar it being that little bit smaller. It is really well constructed, and it has all the lovely features that we've come to expect. And it does come with a bib as well, which you can see just down here, which isn't too bad to be fair, and it does help negate a bit of that drip factor that we're getting on this new style of build plate. So as I said, the top here looks really nice in this black and grey finish. That completely pops off and allows you for the ease of access. You can see that it's still got the same ball rail and Z-axis, all made out of metal, full metal construction on the actual base itself. This is currently off, and I've left it like this because I wanted to show you that when it's not powered on, the tilting build plate does actually sink down into the machine, which is one of the really important reasons why it has a max fill line. Because as soon as you turn it on via the power button on the side here, next to the Wi-Fi connection and the power socket itself, you will see it actually flips up. So this is just going through its initial startup process. Takes a couple of moments to go through. It's got this lovely little built-in self-test like the Saturn 4 and the Saturn 4 Ultra. And there you can see the build plate going through its initial self-leveling process. So if it was any fuller, it would then start to overflow. So what you can see here actually brings me on to a handy little point of it. Because it's all on Wi-Fi, it will actually do a self-update of its firmware and let you know. As you see, you just literally press a button, it does it all for you. You don't have to go and dig it out and put it onto a USB stick, then come down, plug the USB stick, print a particular file, all that other gump that goes along with it. So this makes it a very quick and easy process. So whilst that's doing that, let's cover some of the other bits. You've got this new build plate, as we've said, which is self-leveling. It's self-zeroing, but that's just semantics at this point because everybody calls it self-leveling. You've got your build plate here with your screws and the handy little paw spouts on the corners. You've got the AI camera here. Now that does allow you to do some really cool time-lapse photography of the print as it's building, which is lovely. We like to see that sort of thing. But it's also supposed to have failure detection. But look where the camera's positioned. Now, obviously, there's not a lot of real estate to put this camera in. But with it being positioned on that back right corner, if you've got something that's at the back right of the build plate, it's then going to blank off anything that's at the front here. So, being resin printers, we all like to utilize the full build volume. So how's it going to see anything on this side? It just doesn't. It's a little bit of a bugbear, to be fair, because whilst the technology's brilliant, and it would work really well for saving your resin and time and frustration when it comes to failures, because we all get failures. It's not 100% well implemented. You know, for that sort of cover, you'd really want one at the front as well, or them to be on the sides. But you would need two cameras so it could see the entire build volume. But you know, that's just my point of view. I'm not an engineer. You know, I'm just some weirdo that does network engineering for his day job and 3D printing and flight sims, you know, as a hobby. So that's just telling us we need to do a quick reboot. So yeah, as you see, when you turn it off, it drops drastically. Now, that AI camera feature is not a stopper for me, because the video time lapse that comes up from it is really, really cool. You've also got the fact that it connects in via a different way on the Chitu box software. There's a bit of a screen on there called Chitu Box Manager, and that allows you to control everything remotely, which is really handy. And I'll show you that software shortly. So what else have we got? Until we get into the main screen, which is the same style of screen as on the Saturn IV and the Saturn IV Ultra, I can't show you some of the really cool features that are coming on with this. Now, one thing I do have to point out is that I have had a few failures, but that is down to the temperature in the UK. It's not always, you know, we're not in a tropical climate. Where, you know, a lot of these resins want to be printing at 26, 27 degrees. There is no heater on this, even though Elegoo are coming out with a heater that bolts onto the actual covers. So into this little port here, that would come off and there'd be a heater that goes on there. I haven't been told that I'm getting one. I would like to, because it'd be really handy to review it, and also, you know, I'm doing a lot of resin printing, and it's cold in the UK. You know, we can't guarantee to be on a heat wave every single week. So you've got your screen here. Obviously, print, that would go through the various different histories that you've got if you had a USB stick in there or in its local memory. So you can see here, there's a load of files in the local memory there. Tools, you've got your standards, LCD calibration, emergency stop for any particular reason if something went wrong whilst it was printing, cleaning the vat, manually moving it up and down. But if you just swipe along, you've got a couple of extra features. So you can obviously do the self-test again, you know, just in case you're doing any testing. But then you have the lovely, and this is what was missing off, well, one of the things that was missing off the Saturn IV, the exposure calibration test. Now this can go up to 8 different models across the build plate. It is really, really handy for dialing it in. So as you can see, you press the little icon down there, and there you go, you've got 6 different models. Oh look, there's 8 different models. It's really, really good, and it helps you dial in those settings. Absolutely fantastic. But you do have to place each model individually into the areas in your slicing software before you send it over to the printer, else it just won't work. It's not like it automatically duplicates and populates those sectors. It does need to be told where those are, and then it will do that for you. Got your usual settings. So here you can see that you've got your Wi-Fi connections. As you saw, it does an automatic firmware update. You can select your print mode, whether it be high speed or standard. I've been doing everything on high speed because why not? There's an app that you could use. I don't particularly use that, but that's where all the settings would be in there. You swipe it across. You've got, you can turn the speaker on or off, or you can upload from a USB stick if you don't have connection to the internet, or you can do it via the cloud. And then we have the device info, pretty much the same sort of thing. It tells you the model, firmware versions, all that sort of good stuff. And that's it on that screen. I will put up a time lapse of some of the prints that I've actually done as well. And we'll also cover the quality of the prints. Like I said, I have got a couple that have failed. And I will show you where these have failed, and that is down to the heat. Okay, so let's get on to showing you what the software looks like. So going on to the models that we have, here's your standard Elegoo test print of the Rook, and that is there to like show off all the capabilities of the printer itself. And you know, if you look at this, you can see it's come out really nice and clean and crisp. All the lettering's really nice. All the spiral, the staircase, the double helix down the center, all the edges, it's all come out really nice and clean and crispy. So yeah, that leads you on going, brilliant, everything's going to work perfectly fine. But then we moved on, because Elegoo also include a chess set on this for the particular print files, to the Rook for that. Now this is one of the failed prints I had, and I 100% believe it is down to the temperature. You can see the crack going down through the model itself, where I've then rejoined it together. That's the big problem. It fails in such a way where it sort of splits the model, or you'll find a gap in the model itself where the printer hasn't been at, the resin hasn't been at the right temperature. But with that said, if you can salvage it, they actually come out really nice, because you can see all the details on this Rook. You can see all the spikes and small details on the armor. The face is actually really detailed, and all the plinth looks really, really nice as well. So other than that split down it where it failed, it's a really nice print. We then go on to another one of the failures, and this is what I mean by the temperatures just being wrong. You can see like it failed on the shoulder and also the elbow pads of this dread, but everything else turned out really nice. And it's literally, it's got to be the temperatures, because any other time when I've been able to get a heater into the printers to warm them up, with the larger ones like the Saturn 3 and the Saturn 4, they've come out really, really nice. I've not had any failures whatsoever. So once I did manage to get the temperatures up a bit, you can see that actually he turns out really, really nice. You can see all the details on the belt, on the shoulder pauldrons for the actual judge eagle side. You can see his name on his badge on his chest, all the wrinkles in the back of his tunic. You can see everything properly. and it does work out really, really nice. You know, I can't fault it. And then, of course, you can go and get really detailed with something like this. So you can literally see all the details on the backpack, on the armour of this Paladin. It comes out fantastic when you've got the right temperatures and all your settings are right. And you know, it's a really impressive printer for what it is, because it is a very small form factor printer. You know, it's absolutely fantastic. So here we have the actual Cheeto Box software, and this is all set up with the Mars 5 Ultra. It's completely downloaded and came in with everything all set up straight away, so I didn't have to alter any of that. But the one bit that you will see is this Cheeto Box Manager, which is under this icon here, which I've already got loaded, and as you can see, I'm connected up to my 5 Ultra here, and you can see, like, you could go and look straight in at the camera itself as it's running at the moment. You can look at the historical files, and you can look at the actual device files themselves. So just to show off, you can see here where it's completed or where it's been stopped, and also where it's actually recorded a time lapse indicated by here. So if we go through and have a look at this one, so you would download it into wherever you need to usually download things. So let's just throw it in here, and this will download it, so you can then actually view it and see the time lapse that as it's created it. Now, it does only start on a time lapse once it reaches a certain point, because else the camera wouldn't see anything, because the print bed would be under the level of the resin itself in the vat, and also below the level of the vat. So to get a time lapse, it does have to be taller than those particular points. But as you can see, that downloaded, and then we can bring this up to actually see where it's gone through. Now, one downside I have found about it is that the lighting is not particularly brilliant, because the enclosure itself is quite dark. So I have had to add lighting in at another point, and you can see that better if we go into, say, this one, and it takes no time at all to re-download it, and I've actually set up like an LED strip around the printing area that will allow me to light everything up, and the light will then pass through the shielding of that lid, and you'll be able to see things in it. Quite a nice quality, to be fair. It's in dark conditions, it really doesn't work well at all, but if you manage to light it up, it works absolutely fantastic. So we'll just download those now. And then we'll bring that up for you to actually see what it looks like. And you can see there's the time lapse coming through. And you can see how nice that looks with that additional lighting put in there. And it's quite quick, considering this was like over a 3-hour print. But you can see how you can make these really fantastic looking time-lapse videos now. So at the time of recording this video, the Mars 5 itself is still on pre-order, and you can see in the UK it's going for £231.99, due to be delivered round about the 21st of August. And for that sort of money, yeah, you're getting a fantastic printer. And all in all, I do have to say this is a really, really good printer to have under your belt, especially if you are just getting into printing. Bar that temperature issue that you'll experience when you're in a cold climate, it works flawlessly. But once you got past that temperature issue, you're laughing all the way to the bank, and you'll be able to knock out some really, really, really nice prints. So, I've been Tanky from the Grim Reapers, and I hope to see what you've been printing out very soon.